Hello everybody, sanibonani. Welcome to my channel. Igama lami nguNtando Mdletshe, and on this channel siyasifunda iy'ncwadi ey'bhalwe ngolimi lwethu lwesiZulu bese siza la sokhuluma ngazo ley'ncwadi esuke siy'fundile senzela laba phela abasuke bengenaso isikhathi sokuthi bay'funde ley'ncwadi nalaba nje abasuke benqena ukufunda. Siyaphinda futhi sibuka ama-reality shows ethu ala eMzansi bese siza la sizokwenza ama-recaps or ama-reviews siphinde futhi sikhulume nga-any other issues avukayo uma ngabe lama-shows sesiwabukile kwi-TV. Uma ngabe uyaqala ukusijoyina namhlanje and you really like our content, ungakhohlwa ukuthi usubscribe. Uma ususubscribe-ile ungakhohlwa ukuthi upress notification bell like duze kuka-subscribe ukuze phela uthole umyalezo uma ngabe sesiwufakile umsebenzi omusha. Hey guys, Real Housewives of Durban season 2 episode 8. Sidlalile. And I had to text a few hours before I can do this one because I did say guys we need a trip, we need a girls trip, and I knew bengeke trip lena without some drama, without certain things being revealed. But guys, what is this thing that these women are doing? Jojo Mayekhala, everyone is like, oh shame, Jojo, oh shame, she's crying, Jojo. How about that, Jojo? Sorry, Jojo, you look so beautiful, Jojo, don't cry. Do you need some water, Jojo? Do you need to sleep, Jojo? Oh shame, here is a hug, Jojo. Oh please, you're missing Kelvin. Oh sorry, Jojo. How? And then Maseko Khala, oh no, they're like, hey, there's no reason for her to cry this one. Hayi, pictures noma ungapictures ushoneleni upictures ushonele. Guys, kumnandi kuba umlungu eSouth Africa, kumnandi kuba umlungu. Akasatotosa uJojo, akasatotosa uJojo. UNonkulu lapho uyadismisswa nje yena, ama-feelings akhe ayadismisswa, iy'nyembezi zakhe uNonkulu ziyadismisswa. Anyway, ake sihlale phezu kwe-episode yanamhlanje. As we all know, baseNambithi. It's a private game, reserve or something. But yeah, I'm just thinking, are we being fair really to say ukuthi basenambiti, because a lot of them ended up bayolala eLions Valley. So I think we really need to recognize Lions Valley as well, because it is quite a beautiful place as well that they sleep at. Guys, I made notes. I've tried to do my reviews without my notes and it doesn't work out because I forget some things. So I'll have to look at my notes. So my Kalage episode, listen, last week I didn't make a lot of comments on the conversation on the table, La Payana, with Pajama Party, especially the confrontation between Ujojo, Beno Lokuzana, Beno Nonku. Reason being because I do feel like sometimes they will make you feel like a conversation takes a certain direction when it doesn't from the AMA previews. So I wanted to see this week's episode and really see how that conversation goes. Guys, I'm with my child here, so many the noise is she's right next to me. So then I wanted to see this week and see what I saw is really what is happening. It's not because bias hair had today's episode. And it really was, guys. Ujojo was very disrespectful to uNonku. Khona lento eyenziwa abelungu to abantu abamnyama. And when they do it, abaconsider ukuthi we come from different backgrounds, and indlela esidila nayo with aggression is not the same because of where we come from and because of our history. Abelungu sometimes they think they can come at you like, umuntu thina sikhuluma ukuthi umuntu mayethi kuwena, it means ukuthi umuntu ufuna ukulwa nawe. And when they do that sometimes and then they get a response and somebody slaps them and they're like, oh my god, what? Did she touch me? She hits me, And I feel like sometimes the bias pusher is abantu abamnyama when they do that. And this is what Ujojo did. Because she had her eyes open like that and she was hitting the table. Stop fucking talking. This is Unoku trying to explain her feelings. Granted, yes, Unoku takes a long time to get to the point. My kuluma, she really does. Uyajigeleza, anikeza background, akhulume nge-main character story, no cousin we character, no makhelwane we character, nekati le character. Yabo, But if you are really trying to build a friendship with somebody, you need to try and understand them. This is how they are. Let me just wait until they make that point. And I think Ukutu Serisha really was waiting to hear Nonku's point, because she was trying to explain it to Sorisha. This is what upsets me. I'm not upset that you didn't include me kubantu abahambe private jet, but she is upset about it, because I will be upset about it. But she says she's not upset about it. She's just upset that they didn't let them know. They should have called them and let them know. I know Jojo, I don't understand why all of a sudden she's more upset about what Unoku is saying than Ulukuzano Sorisha. And she had her eyes like that, and she was like, shut the fuck up. Stop talking. Stop fucking talking. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that. And I really felt like it was too much aggression coming from Ulukuzano Jojo. Khona le nto engiyifilayo ngoJojo, I feel like if they're sitting at the table and the conversation is not about her, she makes it about her. It's almost like Noku was saying Jojo is spoiled. I am starting to feel like she's right in that, because she wants everything to be about her. Even when she's not involved in the confrontation, she wants to be involved somehow. I didn't understand why that upset her more than it upset Usorisha. Anyway, that's what happened. So finally, uNonkuke-ke, yes, siyavuma sonke. She takes long to explain her point. She explains her point. At this point, nobody wanted to listen to her. People were over it. They didn't want to hear it. And Ujojo was making sure that she's hitting tables. I don't know how Ulukuzana Nonku held herself back, because I wouldn't have been able to if somebody was doing that to me and being like to me. you know. I hope they had security there. But those women don't seem to become too aggressive anyway. But I just feel like if it was me, I would have had a really difficult time not aggressive. Because guys, like we come from Imkonto, Ndugu, Namaha, Kunama-words that you just don't say to us. As a Mazulu, you say a certain word and it's like Kalekand, And I think what lasers is we really don't understand that sometimes. It's hard for us to not respond that way. I really personally I would have had a good time, a difficult time not responding that way, because Ojojo was that aggressive. Finally, she makes her point. Obviously, when she finally makes a point, she realizes by the time she makes a point that nobody is interested, nobody wants to listen to her. And immediately when she is done, she stands up at "Ngisayopaka ukudla." I'm just going to dish. But while she's standing up, Solisha was trying to respond to what she was saying. I do not think that uNonku thought uSolisha wanted to respond. It was just conflictile nje ngokuthi uma eqeda ukukhuluma decide ukusukuma, kanti uSolisha naye she wants to say something at that time. And it almost seemed like uNonku didn't want to hear what Sorisha had to say. And it really felt like I understand why they were feeling like, how usukhulume kangaka isentence elide kangaka, let Sorisha respond. I feel like no, Sorisha could have waited for uNonku ukuthi adishe ukudla and then abuye kahlale phansi and Sorisha and then explains herself. But she decides to explain herself while uNonku is dishing the food laphayana. She says uLokhuzana, uSorisha, they were at her house with Makumalo. Remember, I did say, which I feel like that thing of a private jet was spoken about at Sorisha's house during that dinner with Umdeno Ramseleng. She says it was talked about at the dinner table, and they called the person whoever Wama private jets, and they said the private jets that can take everybody is not available, but they do have a smaller plane. Are they taking him? She made a decision to take him. She said, Abantu who were who went in a private jet were people who were there when that decision was made. So I'm trying to think, how was it? How were they there? Because Umakumalo, yes, she was there, so I understand why she ended up being in the private jet. But uSorisha Beno Jojo were not there. So Bona, how did they get chosen? So I feel like uSorisha still didn't give us enough explanation when it comes to uJojo, ukuthi uJojo yena beno-Annie bachuzwe kanjani. People have said ukuthi it's because they're married, she just wanted married women there only. So why is she on the show with people that are not married? I don't know. But that's what people are doing. Surisha just says in the interview that she feels like Nonku needs to grow up, and she says her lessons haven't come yet. Honestly, I disagree with that. I think different lessons come to people at different times. The fact that you have learned patience at 40 and somebody else hasn't learned it doesn't mean that they haven't learned anything. They've learned other things that you haven't learned. So sometimes to judge a person because you have gone through certain things that have taught you certain things doesn't mean that the next person at 42 like me they should have gone through the same things that I have gone through. We go through different things at different times in our lives, and so our growth is different. I just feel like Unonku is the only one that is real. She's gonna feel something and say something. Sorisha was upset about the women talking about her because they're saying that they heard them talking from the other room the night before. So when she came to that party, pajama party, she was upset about it. But did she express herself? No, she didn't. No, she didn't. So somebody else obviously might say, "Well, okay, now we're sorry, you need to grow up." But because if you are grown and people have talked about you and you are not happy about the fact that they talked about you, you are going to express it. If you are grown, you are going to express it. You know, the same way that she thinks that Unoku shouldn't be getting emotional about everything all the time because that means that she requires growth too. So that's what I'm trying to explain. People grow differently. So Naya, as much as she came to that party upset but didn't really talk about the things that upset her, they should also allow Unungu to express her anger if she wants to express it. So that was the thing about that conversation. I didn't like the response. Gaga Jojo, she never apologized. Like nobody ever does when they do things to Ulokuzana Unongo because she seems to just be like ukhathalelwa nayinombani, you know, and she's a strong woman, I guess, and she can take it. So after that, when Noko comes back and sits down now to eat the food, the conversation continues, and Lokuzana, she tries to express very no, this is what I'm saying. I'm not upset with you. She just wants to emphasize that with the Soreja, and then Makumalo she says, "Can I please come in? Can I please come in?" Meaning, she was asking for permission to talk, you guys. Okay. And then I started thinking, ha, Makuma kanti uyakwazi ukuthi can I come in? Why don't you do that? Kwigumbi lamakhosikazi? Ngoba kwigumbi lamakhosikazi, people have a problem with the fact that uMakhumalo cuts people off. Mabekhuluma on that show, she cuts people off. She would just come in, ashe yakhe point. Esathi umacela uyakhuluma and esathi uma yena uyakhuluma. I'm like, how? Kanti uyakwazi ukucela ukukhuluma wena? It doesn't help because I'm watching all of the shows. I'm like, I was ucela permission to speak. But here, uzobona ukuthi on this show, she's not being herself. She's like, can I come in? Can I say something? Can I come in, Sorish? At this point, guys, I'm feeling like uSorisha should just go to Woolworths, athenge leza imbeleko zase-Woolworths, lezi eqinile, you know, and just put uMakhumalo emhlane or amathawula lawa akhona amakhulu and just avele ambelethe uMakhumalo because at this point everything Makhumalo is here. Sorisha uyasukuma nangu Makhumalo, Sorisha uyadla nangu Makhumalo, Sorisha can I speak? Sorisha can I come in? Sorisha can I, you know, that's how their relationship is on Real Housewives of Devon. Ubelethe nje emhlane kaSorisha. Angazi noma uSorisha uyakwazi ukubeletha ingane but leya I feel like sekufanele avele ayibelethe nje ngoba ngisengazi ukuthi ingane yakhe. So she says, "Can I come in?" And I'm like, "Yes, yes, Makhumalo. Finally we get Makhumalo to talk." I'm like, hayi uzokhipha indaba-ke manje uMakhumalo because uMakhumalo was with Ngeza Sipho because Makhumalo was with Sorisha in the room when the other women were talking in the other room, not aware ukuthi bayabezwa. And phela uMakhumalo can understand isiZulu. Makuhlangene uLachonco, uNonku, noMabusi, obviously beshawa ngesiZulu lapha indaba, you know. So I'm sure uSorisha bezimeqa, you know, engayitholi indaba. Okay, fine. They decide ukuthi okay, fine. Uzokhuluma, they kept quiet. I'm sure bonke bebelindile ukuthi oh, okay, what is Makhumalo going to say? Oh, guys, Sipho doesn't want me to do this video. Anyway, so everyone is waiting for Makumal. I'm sure everyone is like, okay, finally we get to know this lady that just is going everywhere with us, but we don't know whether she's a cast member or not because she doesn't say much. So she says, Makumalo, okay, Nonku, I really commend you for bringing this thing here, like bringing it to the table because okay, I'm thinking okay, okay, motivational speaker, using your skills here to make peace, good for you, Makuma. But she decides, it's not enough, let me be a little bit messy. And then she goes, because last night you guys were really nasty. Huh? Like, we were nasty. What do you mean we were nasty? She's like, no, we could hear you. And then Ulona, uSorisha ngoba phela she didn't want to do the mess yena, she has ingane yakhe la to do the mess. She's like, yeah, you guys, we could hear you from the other side of the room. And they're like, and then uMabus is like, hayi phela, you can't say something like that uvele uyishiye kanjalo, sitheni, say, give us the details, what did we say that was so horrible? Because I feel like what we are talking about now is what we were saying last night. Nononku is like, yeah, vele last night we said something, but it's the same things that we're saying now. And then Lachongo said something else like, but last night we didn't say this. So we're all confused now. What did I say last night? So we're sitting there, we're waiting for Makumalo. Okay, yeah, Makumalo, it's getting on now. Usaya Bambu, go to the Real Housewives now. And then she's like, no, I'm just saying, it's good that you brought it here. But everyone is like, yeah, we heard that, but we're waiting for the other thing that they said. What did they say? It's like, no, I was just saying. People are like, and then Lachlan's like, you can't say something like that and not qualify it. Hey, she likes the word qualifying. I had to go. I'm an accounting person, so when you talk about qualifying, I'm thinking qualified. Qualified financial statements and unqualified financial statements. And I'm like, oh, what does qualified means? I guess she meant like support your statement. You can't say something like that and not support it. You're saying we said something horrible, it was nasty. What was it? She refused to say it, you guys. She refused to say it. Now it leaves the people that were not there to think, what the hell was said? And then it leaves the people that were there to say, because we said a lot of things is all about Dini. Which part is she talking about? It leaves that thing. I really think what she should have just said, what you guys said this and this and this, and I think it was horrible and I think it was nasty. Or she should have just left it angasho. She's uthi yena bashizinto eningi so much. Kusho ubetolikela uma wakho Sorisha. Yabona bebethi mabekhuluma athi hey ma but hey ma but athi okunye ubengamtolikeli ngoba it was too nasty. But she's not saying, she shouldn't have said, in my opinion. If she discloses because they said something nice, then she should disclose what is that nice thing. Because no Sorisha is gonna keep thinking the worst about these women. Kanhlapa, it's not that bad. I don't know what's saying. So okay, fine, but give up because they can see what's okay. Makumalo is not going to reveal what she's talking about. And then the second scene was Sorisha. Sorisha is calling her husband, updating him and telling him, Uguti, the women pillar are not very happy about the private jet thing. Listen, I really feel like her husband Sorisha is not emotionally supportive to her. Like it wasn't an emotionally supportive conversation. Ukhulume ngathi ukhuluma with a business partner or umuntu ammentorishayo mhlambe emsebenzini. It's a little bit emotionally distant when they talk about it. No, so sometimes she handles her like she would handle like a business deal or the way that she would make a business decision. So but then she says that she says uSolisha usiyena, but she thinks it's good for her. Listen, when your husband is not emotionally there for you, it is never good. But I mean, they're still married, and she wants to talk good about her husband. Anyway, I guess uMabusi, they were at is it Lions Valley? uMabusi beno like Choncho, but they have a morning session where they talk about it. uMabusi says ukuthi yini manje le yenziwa uMakhumalo starting something and then not finishing it, because obviously it leaves people hanging and then people are starting to think the worst. And obviously you all know ukuthi Nelaxoxo never has anything good to say about Makhumalo. She talks about Makhumalo's character being questionable and all that, but she does say ukuthi but uMabusi ngiyamazi. At this point I think she's just trying to get to know uMakhumalo, ambone ukuthi uwumuntu onjani. And I think it's good. That's good for Umabusi to make her own decision. If she doesn't like somebody, angamthandi just because akathandwa ulokhuzana uLaxhoxho. And then Umabusi also talks about, listen guys, I did do a video to ask ukuthi what was the reason ama-producers angamenza uMabusi a permanent cast member. Really, because she does what a real housewife should be doing, which is Abo Makhumalo, Abo Jojo Bani, which they are not doing. And then she says ukuthi this thing got Jojo ukuthi manje hitting the tables and telling people to shut the fuck up, you know. And yeah, honestly, guys, I know what they're going to downplay it. Had it been a black woman, had it been one of the black women that hit a table like that, and that was like that with a white woman, it would have been a totally different story. They would have treated that storyline very different. But because it was the other way around, it was the white woman being like that to a black woman. It's like iyazitshwa. And I'm not happy about that when it comes to these producers. Her aggression was not okay towards Unonku. It wasn't. But had it been Unonku who acted like that towards Ujojo, it would have been another story. Besizokhuluma ngaleyo nto for the next 5 episodes and next season. So I'm not happy about it as well. So and I talk about that, but obviously, to be honest with you, Ulaxhoxho is on and off when it comes to Nonku. 1 minute she's okay with her, 1 minute she's not. So in this conversation, I guess she was not. I'm starting to think Ulaxhoxho is really fake, you guys. Because I'm not understanding her in a lot of the relationship. A relationship that she is consistent in is a relationship yakhe noMabusi. But laba abanye angimqondi kahle hle ukuthi umi kuphi. So she talks about ukuthi hayi uNonku vele uma ekhuluma vele akhuluma into ende, uthola ukuthi anisatholi nani ukusho enifuna ukusho, nina senihleli-ke mase niyalenga-ke nje senifana nama-chandelier. I really think it's because these women are not really attempting to build genuine friendships with Unonku. I think when you're building a friendship, abangani bami guys abafani. There's things that I need to understand about my friend. This friend, mayangifonela this friend, ukhuluma kanje, I have to understand her. This one must khuluma nayo, you know, because they are my friends. I love them and I want to maintain my relationships with them. I take the time to I'm patient even with the things that they do that I do not like because they are my friends. But when somebody is not your friend and you are not trying to become a true friend with them, things like that irritate you easily. And I think that's what's happening with these women. They don't really care about Unonku. And because they don't really care about Unonku, they don't have the patience to understand her that when she's trying to explain the point, she takes longer. So let's just be quiet. If it takes an hour to take an out, they just don't have the patience for her. So that's what Ulaxhoxho is talking about. And then the next thing, they're going to eat breakfast, I guess, and the gene testing, they're going to test the gene. And there's the quantum. Now, we have two groups. We have quantum and private jet, but the passengers have changed. In the quantum now, we have Ulaxhoxho, Umabusi, and Unonku, and we've added Ujojo Beno Ene. And then in the private jet, we have Ulukuzana, Usorisha, Usorisha, Ulondi London, and Ulukuzana. Londi London noma Khumalo, because bona balala eNambithi angithi laba bayolala eLions Village, so bahamba with different transportations ukuthi baye laphayana kwi-breakfast. They're driving in one of those cars zelokhuzana as driver on the game drive, looking really cute. But then was it in this one when Khumalo was wearing leather? Okay. Mayifika lana uJojo, it looked like we are formal what, you know. we are with formal dinner. She was really looking formal. And then they call the guy, and then the guy comes also explaining gin. It's called Nambiti gin, and explains what the ingredients are, how they're going to taste it. Tumakumala said she's not going to taste it, I guess, because she doesn't drink, which I didn't find strange. And Osorisha said she wasn't going to drink it, but they still could do the smelling and whatever. It looked like all it was fun. And then Ulondi just had to take a chance, gets to throw shade at Unonku and said, "Because at least these guys are professional, be explain, not like the other guys." I don't know why she's talking about last season because she wasn't even part of last season. But again, she took the time to throw shade. Remember, Unonku had a wine tasting and launch where the guy who was trying to explain wine really did a good job. And how kusanjalo kumnandi decide ukuthi bayathosta-ke yabo, because with the gin they're going to say something positive, all of them. Each person was supposed to say something positive. How Jojo ngisho ukuthi uJojo, when something is not about her, she finds a way to make it about her. Yabona mayabona kwethu uJojo is spoiled, Jojo is spoiled. I agree. So the whole time ikhamera ilokuya kuyena iyakhombisa ukuthi ngathi ufuna ukukhala, ngathi yabo umuntu uma efuna ukukhala nihlele ethekwini, but uyabona ukuthi animnakile. Hayi, abantu bazijabulele bayathosta. So only when they do the toast do they really notice ukuthi, oh, okay, something is wrong with Jojo. And they did the toast. They were just supposed to say something positive. What they're toasting to. Massive effect. Jojo doesn't want to say anything, and then she stands up and is crying. How? I and then what's happening? Uyakhala, stands up ayoma ngale emva kwemoto ke. So uLachonco benolondi, they go check up, like, girl, what's happening? And then Ness, oh Shem, what is happening? What is wrong? Why are you crying? Shame. Jojo, they were last born. Yazi ukuba rich sometimes kuyasiza nje. Yazi abanye abathi hey wena awukahle ukukhala sojabula lana. You know, hey abancane, and then she starts talking with him. Guys, apparently Kelvin, but my favorite husband, you know, his wife is not my favorite right now, but he is my favorite real husband. Uh, he had a heart attack, guys. He had a heart attack. He was in the ICU for some days. He's okay now, but it was bad for a little while. So, and look, Doctor is talking as if this is something that happened a week ago. And then a few days later, she's here. You know, like a week later, she's in the trip. When she told that story, I was like, and then she said she's feeling guilty that she made a decision to come on the trip and leave her husband and her child at home. Nami, I was like, girl, what are you doing? It's not like you can't go on another trip. You guys are rich. When your husband is well, you can take a trip. You can just tell the producers, guys, get i-camera ezongilokhuza mina ngisekhaya nursing my husband to health, and then the girls can go on a trip. What are you doing emahlathini when your man almost died from a heart attack? I did not understand that. I'm not judging, but I didn't. I felt like she should have stayed at home. I felt like if my partner was had just had a heart attack, now I wouldn't want to go anywhere. I would want to be next to him. But maybe her husband convinced her that he was well enough, and that she can. You know how men are like, I know the right to go. I really don't think she should have gone. I really don't think so. So kind of so low. Nobody had said anything to her. She just cried. She's emotional. I shouldn't be here. I left my husband and my son. But see, the most amazing thing is that oh, Shem, you are so beautiful. They're wiping her tears, which normally would be good for women to do. But in this case, it's not good because they don't do it for every woman. They're very choosy on who they do it to. For some reason, we are Toto Sonji Ujojo. But Nononku at some point he cried, but akazange zaneso ngendlela aneswe ngayo ulokhuzana uJojo. So for me, I was like, Abola Choncho, ayibo, mahagi la, engasamhagi kanje, okay, kodwa-ke, okay, good for them. And yeah, they go back to whatever, okay, the toast and stuff. And yeah, she just said she needed a few minutes because they were saying she must just go. Nambe ngithi akahamba ayolala and get better because it almost felt like she's spoiling the trip for them. And the next scene, it was her, I guess it's the following day in the morning. She's calling her husband and she is just updating her with she wasn't feeling well. She was feeling guilty. And Kevin is like, no, man, I'm okay. But he's not okay because he's still going to see the doctor. Like I say, I think honestly she should have stayed at home. But yeah, she's feeling better the following day. They do. Oh, this is where Uma Kumal was wearing a leather to leather. They do a game drive today to go and so they were going to do a game drive. Bese beyahamba kudla brunch somewhere. Okay, I think this is the last day. So they do Makumalo. It was that outfit is very nice, but I'm not sure game drive. Yazi ukuthi iqiwi indawo eseqiwini iqiwi kwashi for some reason ngathi elakhona ilanga angazi lifakwa to the last degree wherever esiqiwini nje like kuvele kushisa ngenye indlela. So I was looking at ilokhu zakhe. I'm like, hey, leather to leather. It was a nice outfit, but not for that thing. Not for that thing. Honestly, she needs some help. Her outfits are really, really good, but it would just be like if Elipumetlelen from what is happening. Everyone is just casual and whatever, leather to leather. And Gutula Chongo is gonna make a comment about it. So it's like, hey, Nango gonna make on the outfit, hey, akusashi single leather to leather. Yeah, whatever. Angithi phela there's ama drive out too. There's quantum, there is ilokhuzana. We already know now ukuthi quantum imi kanjani. Quantum obvious baningi quantum was very nice. It was funny quantum. Even though uJojo no who had that fight, but today they are okay, they are talking, they are joking, they're talking about the night before, pajama party, everything is cool. Amukho nomunye, they really talked about it to Noah, and the others are like, oh, we're glad to see you guys are okay. And who's like, that's why it's important that when you have an issue, talk about it so that it's over. And then they start talking about people's outfits. Angazi ubani othe engabe umaphi lona uLondilanda, I'm sure he's somewhere ngeGucci nje. And then they start talking about indaba yama-levels, wearing designer clothes. And Ulaxo doesn't wear designer clothes. Or mina ngiwazi ama-designer clothes, I haven't seen her. Khona lokho obvious kwawo-Gucci nobani ovele ubone ukuthi ikona yabo akakugqoki lokho. Kusho ukuthi ukuqala kokucashile ukuthi kuyi-designer if she does. So she says ukuthi sometimes uma ugqoke from head to toe, uthe kunjani? It hurts the eyes. I don't know who is like, hayi lona ukhulumani ngoba mhlawumbe akazi nanokuthi isigqoko se-Gucci malini. Bafethu isigqoko se-Gucci malini? Noma ngazi ukuthi isigqoko se-Gucci malini. I just know it's expensive. And yeah, but it was a fun, shady conversation. I don't think that it was meant to harm anybody. And then talks about old money and new money. Umuntu we-old money uyambona nje, umuntu we-old. Listen, all of the housewives, there's no one that has that is from old money. Let's just be real, guys. Old money means that generations and generations in your family have had money and left you money. You grew up in money. Imali njena when that's old money. New money is you are probably the one that has made the most money, or your parents are the ones that have made the most money. Like the first in your family, the first generation is still here that has made money. So all of them are new money because Vivian no sorry shop. Vivian is the one that has made money. And it's not like he was left amafa. He made it. So that's new money. Abolona or any her husband is the one that is rich. That's new money. Ujojo na her husband. Apparently husband got Jojo they own amalokuzana amabucha lawe bluff. Yes, I saw an ad, something like an ad where he's wearing that. They own that. I don't know if it's a franchise, but they own Amapusha a bluff. So I don't know about him. It could be old money if it's generational. I don't know if he's the one that started, or maybe his fathers and his forefathers, but if bluff meats, it's an old brandy, so it's possible with them. But the rest of them is just new money. But some of them, we don't even know if they have money. Like Ula Chongo, we don't even know if she has. We can even classify her Kuma old money and new money. You know, she might be living on, just paycheck like the rest of us. you know. But she made that differentiation ke yokuthi umuntu who has old money, you can differentiate her from new money. Listen, we live in no money. She left one category to no money. We live in no money, and here we are surviving with no money. And then bona bafike kuqala. The private jet arrived, and then yeah, and then the others arrived too, which is like a quantum. And then get the real mess started. These protesters then got messy, but they had every right to, because honestly, it was bad if they were going to go back home without some kind of a fight, some kind of some kind of a confrontation. I know it's bad to say, but it's real when it comes to these shows. So they eating, they're having fun, they're okay, everyone is talking to everyone, no one has a problem with whatever, which was quite nice. But ke asithandi leyo phela, asithandi ukuthi abantu bazwane thina kwi-Real Housewives, ngoba uma bezwana abantu ayikho idrama. Uma ingekho idrama ayikho i-show, ayikho i-viewership. Uma ingekho i-viewership, i-show zikhansela. Bese siba yini ke thina? What are we going to review, So she comes with the cards. She says, Lon, this confession, deck of confession. Apparently, Ulondi had asked the other women to send the questions anonymously to her. She was not going to reveal who sent the question, but some questions were supposed to be general questions for everybody, but some questions were specific for a specific cast member. So I'm only going to talk about, it's a lot of questions that they asked, and I'm sure there's even more than what we saw. But I'm going to also talk about questions that really was that caused a bit of drama. And then there's a question that was asked by Annie to Jojo, meaning to Annie picked up a card. It doesn't mean that Annie was the one that came up with the question. She picked up a card that said, Jojo, how do you feel about being married to an old man?" And Jojo offended, but she said it in the confession or in the interview. And she says, "It feels good to be in the mansion, honey." And then she says in the interview that she feels like the person that asked that question is Mabusi. Guys, I was like, how does she feel like it's Mabusi who asked that question? Because Jojo doesn't seem to have spent a lot of time with Mabusi. Why would she just suddenly feel like it's Mabusi who asked that question? It really confused me that. But then I think the producers might have given her the clue that it is Mabusu who asked that question, just to cause drama, because otherwise there's no reason. They haven't spent a lot of time with her. Why would she just think, I know it's Mabusu who asked that question? Now these producers are starting with Umabuswami, because I'm not gonna be happy if they start drama with Mabus. First, you don't make her a permanent cast member, which means that you're not paying her like you pay the other women. Now you're putting her on some drama that she doesn't need, when you have enough cast members to create drama with. Ngoba phela you decided, yeah, now she wasn't worth making a permanent cast member. I don't know. I don't think that I like that. So, and okay, she answers like that. Well, how is the way she feels when she's in her mansion? And then ulwazi lamabuza ukuthi izinqa are they real? Nami lezi zinqa ngikubuza ukuthi izinqa lezi are they real? But yeah, black people, some of us are gifted. I don't know where we were. I don't know which queue I joined Masifika ezulwini, and we were given bodies, because I went every crew, but masifika ey'nqeni, I don't know whether zaseziphelile noma I went on the-queue yabelungu. Angididekile ngangena kwi-queue yabelungu because izinqa angizitholanga. And then abolondilandani-ke bona they joined the right queue, bathatha izinqa baze bathatha nalezi bekufanele zinikwe thina, zafakwa kubona. But she says izinqa zakhe they are real. Kodwa lezi basuke bezifakelile, kuba nalento lena engazi ukuthi unnatural lana, and they do look a little bit natural, ukuthi nje zinkulu. Okay. And then Annie also picked up a card that asked Ulatongo where does she live. I also want to know where Latongo lives. I think the whole of South Africa wants to know where Latongo lives. I think I think the whole of YouTube wants to know where Latongo lives. And does she own the place where she lives? Ulaxoxo wants people to answer questions that Jena she doesn't want. And then she says, I live in Durban and I live in Joburg. Aibo, nami ngihlala ePietermaritzburg and ngihlala naseThekwini. Kodwa where do I live eThekwini? Where do I live ePietermaritzburg? I live in Scottville. Where do I live eThekwini? Sometimes I'm in Chesterville, sometimes in Mzinyazi. That's an answer. Kuphi eNomzinyathi ngaseNyoni? Kuphi neScottville Alexander Road? That's what they wanted, you know. Yena she says, I live in Joburg, I live in Durban. They like, and then Nonkuke asked, yeah, but I think they meant like where exactly in Durban. She says, I can't reveal that. Really, honestly, Ula Congo still lives like she's married to the former president at this point. She hides information more than the ministers hide information about their houses. Like, girl, you're no longer in that situation. Nobody cares. Ngisho ungahlala la nje emva kwendlu, nobody really cares. You know, just reveal it. We need to know here. And yeah, I guess she was diplomatic. I live in Durban and I live in Joburg. Yeah, that's what she said. And then Uma K. Hey! Kuna-viewer yami emthanda kanjani Uma K. Anyway, there's a number of my viewers that really love Uma K. Shame. And we always laugh about it in the comment section. And then they ask me, what has she ever slept with anybody other than Umselegu after she was married to Umselegu? I wonder, guys, Umabosi said in one interview that there is something that happened between Ulachongo and Makumalo that makes Ulachongo and Makumalo not get along. It's not what people think, and people will never guess what that is. Okay. Just keep that statement in your mind. And then somebody asked Umakumalo this question, and she was very offended by it. I mean, you could have been like, hi, guys, I'm married. Of course, I've never slept with any man after I married my husband. But she was very offended by it. She was like, I want to know who asked that question because this is a very offensive question. Just answer the question. Have you? Have you ever and then bambuza ukuthi lona has he cheated? Of course not. From the way she answered, it's like, yeah, guys, it has happened, but it was early on in the relationship. That's what the impression I got was that it happened was early on in the relationship. Once they had settled, they were committed to each other. It never happened again. Now she's in a marriage. She's relaxed about it. She doesn't think it would happen, but she's very clear to say her relationship is not perfect. Like any other relationships, they've gone through ups and downs. But she's not happy with the fact that Ulondi allowed people to ask her those kinds of questions. So she's questioning the friendships in the group. Anyway, you don't have any friends in that group, ma. Those are your colleagues. Those are your colleagues, sis. So then they asked Unonku about. I forgot at the beginning of season one, she did say that she was an ordained pastor. They asked about that. She says, yeah, she felt like she had a calling that she needed to go and be trained as a pastor. She went and studied for 3 years, studied theology for 3 years and graduated. And she says people would look at her life and then judge her as if she's not a pastor just because of the way she dresses and the way that she acts. She says, and she believes God loves her, accepts her the way that she is. It was a good statement anyway. I don't know why they have a problem with that. She's an ordained pastor, meaning she went wayofunda wagcotshwa. So, you know, they are so rich about skin bleaching. Here's the thing then. Bambu's ama-securities that she had when she bleached her skin, does she have them now? And also she had an attitude in this meeting, I think from the night before because of what happened. But I really hate that she didn't recognize her possibly getting a storyline and a positive contribution from this question because she just thought it was shady, so she answered it with shade. So she said, "Was yeah, listen, it was so long ago. Anyway, I got rich from it because she started a business from selling safe. I think she sells like safe bleaching products or products that take care of your skin safer than what she used, when she bleached her skin originally. So I felt like she could. I know this is something that happened long ago. I did do a video about it, about her bleaching her skin. I felt like even though this happened long time ago, but we are watching the show now, and this is something that happened in your life. I think she could have taken an opportunity to talk about it a little bit more, talk about what she was feeling at a time when she made a decision to bleach her skin. Because guys, we have so many young girls who are dark skinned that really feel like this is something that will just save their life to just bleach their skin. Okay. Ooh, my microphone, I don't know if it was on. Hey, sengikhulume kangaka. Ah, so I feel like she could have taken the opportunity to elaborate a little bit more and talk about how she felt and how it made her feel and what happened and whatever, just to have that positive message to young girls that are probably watching the show and wanting to ditch that skin. I think that the message that they got from the way she answered the question was that, yeah, I bleached my skin and I became rich. And that's not how it went. And I wish that she had elaborated more. She didn't see that opportunity, and it's unfortunate that she didn't. And umabusi bambuza ukuthi iy'khwama zakhe are they real, lezi zama-designer. Listen, I feel like these women, because bona they made it in life through usizo lama-husbands abo, because their husbands are rich, they can't believe ukuthi there's a woman out there who is single and is can afford the things that they can afford. Because Umabusi is well, she does have a man, but she's not married. Because Umabusi can afford what they can afford, but she's not married. So it's like they can't believe. They think ukuthi her stuff is fake, and she's like, "Ah, guys, you spend so much money on my stuff. How can you say that my stuff is fake?" That question was asked by Nonko, I'm sure. Anyway, uLondi London, they asked her how would she feel if her husband had a baby outside of a relationship? Would she allow her husband to order the baby? And she said yes. It wasn't very interesting, that one. And then they asked Annie again, listen, guys, something's gonna come up with Annie and her husband possibly cheating in the past, maybe, because they just kept on asking about her husband cheating. They said, well, how would she feel if she cheated? She said, it depends what happened. Are they chatting, flirting? Did they sleep together? She says she will deal with the situation when it happens, depending on what happens exactly that classifies that situation as cheating, which I thought was a reasonable answer. But they on her too much about her husband cheating. I'm almost suspecting that some of the women know something about Ukuru. Remember, Mabuso said, "Oh, I know your husband from the streets." And when somebody says they know the husband from the streets, you know, so and then, ooh, and then the issue that caused the drama. I even want to talk about this one. So they asked Lokuzana, Nonku. This question was asked by Eni, and I actually think this question was actually written by Eni too. When it's asked Nonku, why did you wait so long to deal with the issue of the damages when it comes to your child? Issue yenhlawulo, why did you wait so? I've always wondered as well nami ukuthi ingane yakhe yakhula zaba ndala ingahlawuliwe ubaba wayo ephila, and then maseshonile sekuyi-big issue ukuthi ayihlawulile. Why did you not? Okay, fine. As we all know, uNonku is going to answer whatever question you throw at her, she's going to answer it. But the issue with uNonku is that njengoba ngisho ukuthi uma ezokhuluma ngale microphone, ufuna ukukhuluma ngale stand lesi, akhulume ngale khodi, akhulume ngale laptop, akhulume ngale notebook, akhulume ngale ring light, akhulume ngako konke 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 konke, bese yabuya azokhuluma ngale ukuthi le microphone i-related to le ring light akananda, uzokhuluma ngako konke, that's how she answers my questions. And they're just not getting used to it. So she started talking about her relationship with this Fiso, how they she talked about how they met, but the fact that after they had a baby, they separated. He went back to Ayanda, but he had always wanted her back. He had always wanted her back. He used to tell her he married the wrong person. He married the wrong person. It should have been them. But everyone is like, Ulondlana was like, how? Particular? answer doesn't have anything to do with the question. And then it's like, no, ngiyeza lapho, ngiyeza enhlawulweni. I get that's when they lost it. So because she mentioned Ayanda. And then we all know ukuthi uLachongo is friends. Umngewakhe phela u-Ayanda. Like, why are you even mentioning Ayanda? What does Ayanda have to do with inhlawulo yengane yakho? And she was trying to explain. Once she was done explaining, because she was saying, I just wanted to explain. I don't know, angazi kuhlangana kanjani nami ukuthi i-relationship yakhe Sifiso, how does that have to do with inhlawulo yengane? I didn't understand that. I was trying to understand Noku because Noku really, I want to understand her because she's really an important part of this show. She's the only cast member actually on this show. So okay, fine. But Ulona was upset with why is she mentioning Ayanda. So when she was done, what upset Unoku was that every time I'm trying to talk about my story, my journey, people have something to say about it. They won't let me share what my journey is. Nobody knows what my relationship with Swissa was like. And when I try to share my truth, there's always people that have something to say about it. She got emotional, stood up, walahlela isihlalo laphana, and. And I was wondering ukuthi ubani ozosukuma-ke this time because phela overload London they did sukuma benolachonco beyoduduza uthunjana wabo laphayana uJojo. And this time it was uJojo. Interesting enough, uJojo stood up and Sorisha stood up. And yeah, it's interesting that it's those two. I guess uJojo because honestly, if you've been supported now you are going through a breakdown by Baksapotile, now you are going to do the same for the next person. Maybe that's why. And Ulokuzan Sorisha is always trying to be nice, even though they had just had that thing with Unoku, but she's not gonna not support her because she said, yeah, to her, you know what, I'm glad you were able to tell the truth. Whether we are uncomfortable with it, we don't think you should be telling it like you're telling it, but it's your truth anyway. So they were trying to comfort her. She really got emotional. She really got emotional because she said, I'm the only one that knows what happened with me. And Ulona, why are people getting upset that I am sharing my journey? Okay, fine. Hayi iyaremphwa-ke apho-ke ilokhuzana. I-trip, I guess they went back home. They didn't show us them packing and going back home. We saw Sorisha manje at home with the child. At least now we're getting to see something from her. Apparently when she was away with Sorisha, they lost the dog. Honestly, mabesaqala, I was like, kushone ugogo, kushone umalume, kushone bani, kushone, because they kept saying Zoe passed, and Zoe, they really said Zoe passed, and she wanted to support her daughter, but she was away, and her daughter was crying on the phone. I'm like, who is Zoe? Who is Zoe? And her daughter was like, it's the first time that I cry when somebody, she said somebody passed. It was the first time. I'm like, and then later, it's a dog. Oh, shame. Condolences to them, honestly, guys. To be honest, I mean, people have to understand sikhule emakhaya, inja ihlala laphayana emnyango igada ikhaya iphakele ube njani masishonile iyashona iyaqhutshwa. We don't get we didn't get, let me just say that we didn't get emotionally attached to dogs like that. So for me, I don't want to seem like umuntu ongadabuki, but for me, really, honestly, I had to really like think of this dog as a person to understand their head because it was like it's a dog. Okay, yeah, they really hurt. But yeah, Sorisha was really emotional about it. It was one of her favorite dogs. It used to sleep next to her, so it's like a great loss to them. They went to a place where I thought maybe that's where grave Yenja is, and put flowers. It was great to meet Kalina. Kalina is so cute. Teenager, mhlawumbe like ula kuba 15, 16. Muhle shem, muhle. And then there was Zula Chonto Nonomku. The fake curry is like 100% and 150% sometimes with Ulachongo. Ulachongo comes, hey, girl, how are you doing, girl? And then Uncle is like, how? This one, Fulti, who was saying I mustn't talk about, I must pictures. Phela unonku ngase sukuma ekhaya, was like, I know ngapictures ushoneleni uthini. Ukhalela nje ngempela. She was that insensitive Ulachongo. Ukhalela into ekhalelayo lona ngempela. Why fanele ke lo ikhuluma ngo-Ayanda umngani wami, wena kahle ukuthi umngani wami. Kodwa you know ukuthi So now mase bemitha nayo lona because I don't know what she wants to say, because for me Lachongo was very weird the way that she acts. So uyafika usethi, hawu unjani, how is ingane yakho, how is unothile, how is umama, hayi uxakekile manje unomkuwa. So they're trying to clarify ukuthi i-clash yabo beyikuphi, you know. And i-explanation nangu is like, mina I'm an open person, like Chonto. If you ask me a question, I will give you an answer. And the thing about it is that the more answers I give, the more questions people have. Because I will give an answer and they will have questions about the answer that I've given, you know. So I felt like I needed to clarify that. Into yamahlawulo was something that I had buried now. Sengidlulile kuyona. Ivuswe yibo abantu by asking me a question. Now when I'm trying to explain it again, abantu have a problem with it. And mina, I have nothing to hide. I share everything. So yeah. So now ulona unokuthi challenges ke ulachonga ukuthi wena inkinga yakho is that you want to understand everything about us. You want us to answer our questions the way that you want us to answer our questions, but when you don't answer any of the questions about your life, you are very diplomatic about ama-answers osinika wona athi yena, so you are like a mystery to us. Athi uyachonga, but I prefer it that way. Athi ulona. But how are we go? That's a question I thought was very good. Then how are we going to build a friendship if you are not going to share your life with us, but you want us to share our life with you? You know, she ended up just giving up on go to say she's not really going to continue explaining her side of the story, but she feels like Chongo never answers the questions, but she always has a problem with the way that people answer the questions, people that want to answer the questions. Guys, I don't know how long we're gonna have Ula Chongo here being diplomatic, pendulum questions like who Ramaphosa. And so, what's the point of having her on? If you really cannot answer something as simple as, you know, when you ask me to where do I live, it's Scottville. Scottville is cool. It's not like Ukolmuto Zong Shasela, la, because they don't know the exact address. So, what would hurt? What would hurt? Or what would hurt, you know? So sometimes she hides information that it doesn't need to be hidden. And then there's Mr. Petal. Yeah, I guys, too much. But there was an episode for today. I did have certain issues when it comes to this episode, like that issue with Jojo and Okutotoswa nje kwakhe. You know, there's other things that I will talk about as the weekend goes. But for now, guys, this was my episode. Please like the video. My video is actually longer than the. If you were saving data by watching my videos, you're not gonna save any data because the episode is actually 45 minutes and this video is like over 50 minutes. Thank you so much for watching my videos. Please like it before you want to share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers in the Tanda.